สวัสดีครับ Kasit Piromya once again during the third week of the month of January 2026. And this time I will comment a bit on the behavior and activities of two world leaders. One is President Donald Trump of the United States, and second is the Supreme Authority of Cambodia in the name of Somdet Hun Sen. And this has very much to do with the execution of political power and authority. In the case of President Donald Trump as well as Somdet Hun Sen, the President of the Senate of Cambodia, they all seem to have so much power, and their powers and their authority seems to be so unlimited. It seems that they can do whatever they want to do, and the respective American community and the Cambodian community as well as the international community must comply and act accordingly. But in reality, that is not the case. For the case of President Donald Trump, he decided to carry out the policy measure of increasing custom tariff rates for all the incoming products from all the countries around the world to earn additional income to rebalance the trade deficits, or even to use the tariff wall as a protection of the American domestic industries. And the world was in havoc, bringing about so much of fear, trepidation about their export performance, the level of the GDP growth, the question of the unemployment, the question of the supply chain and all of that. But the power of President Donald Trump was being challenged, not by force, not by political rallies and social upheaval, but it was challenged in the Court of Justice, which recently came out with the decision that the decision of President Donald Trump to increase the custom tariff rates was unconstitutional, illegal, because the issue of tariffs is not within the authority of the executive branch, but it is the prerogative, it is the responsibility of the Congress, the legislative branch. This judicial decision reflects that the principle of check and balance is still at work in the democratic country named the United States of America. It also reflects that the judicial branch is kicking and functioning well. And the American people and the American society has not and is not under the shadow or dominated by a one man with full authority. So, the executive powers of the President of the United States in the name of Donald Trump is surrounded by the principle of check and balance and separation of power. No power is absolute. And I think it's a good lesson for President Donald Trump that he needs much more consultation. He cannot isolate himself in his carrying out of his responsibility and power. He needs to work with the Congress, the legislative branch, to work together and to come out with a joint decision to move the country forward. And at the same time, it is no harm for him to consult the judicial branch on certain policy initiatives and action and so on. So, in that sense, the stature of the United States in the eyes of the international community is still respected. Now, coming to close to the kingdom of Thailand, Somdet Hun Sen, he has been in power for almost 40 years. And he has been admitted the Cambodia to the ASEAN community. Cambodia also has a role in the Mekong River Basin development and management. So he is part and parcel of the regional cooperation. And he cannot take or should not have taken any unilateral measures. But all along he seems to have forgotten that Cambodia is not isolated and cannot do what it likes. It has to always consider Cambodia commitments to the Mekong River Basin cooperation, and especially to the ASEAN community. And Cambodia is not an island. Cambodia has land area adjacent to Thailand, Laos, and Vietnam. And whatever happens in Cambodia, it can have spillover effects to the three neighboring countries, whether it is the disease, natural calamities, movement of peoples, and so on. And that entails cooperation and goodwill. But with his absolute and immense power over Cambodia for the past 40 years, the power is not limitless. Power is being confined to a certain extent by the personal ethics the good ethical norms and practices of the Cambodian society, including the religious beliefs and precepts and so on. But it is also confined by the happiness or the unhappiness of the Cambodian people. And leaders have no right to inflict unhappiness on its own people. And with so much of the unhappiness, inequalities, repression, suppression, and so on, there rise the discontentment and the resistance that could turn into the opposition and limitation of power of the leader of that particular country. But it is not only the limitations or the confinements of the authorities in the domestic scene. Certain behaviors of Somdet Hun Sen have alerted the awareness of the international community, especially his associations with the illegal business entities. It's alleged that he's very much involved with the scam centers, the human enslavement, the denial of freedom and human rights, and that have gotten the attention of the international community. South Korea has sent a delegation to Cambodia to press the Cambodian leadership to tackle the issue of scam centers and illegal business activities and so on. The United Kingdom, the United States, Singapore, various countries and so on, ASEAN community as a whole, are all turning their attention to the going-ons inside the Cambodian kingdom under the leadership of Somdet Hun Sen. And increasingly, Somdet Hun Sen, in the eyes of the international community, is no longer a respected, experienced political leader. He's more or less a new international criminal. And therefore, there is a need now for the international community, the ASEAN community, to really pay attention to the records of the behavior and activity of Somdet Hun Sen, and to render assistance to the ordinary Cambodian people to get rid of this cruel leadership. Cambodia kingdom needs a profound change, needs a drastic transformation of the leadership. With that change, Cambodia can re-emerge as a kingdom with dignity. And the international community, including Thailand, can render assistance and work with the Cambodian people in partnership for the betterment of life and for their human dignity. Thank you very much. ขอบคุณมากครับ